Shots is a song about kind of messing up the things that have always mattered most to me. And it's the juxtaposition of kind of a melancholy lyrical content with a celebratory, big-sounding song. In the beginning of Gold, there's a whistle that was recorded into my laptop while I was sitting by the ocean on the West Coast. And you could actually hear the wave crash during the... And I really loved how it crashed. It just kind of captured a certain vibe, and we repeated that throughout the whole song. So every time you hear that whistle, you can hear that crash of the wave.
It's like it's almost in rhythm with the song, but just not quite. Just enough to kind of unsettle you, but still work.
Yeah. Smoke and Mirrors is really the title track of the album. We felt like the album should be called Smoke and Mirrors after we finished that song, because thematically it really spoke for the record in a lot of ways. It's really a conflicting record of kind of trying to figure out in life what is real and what is not. And Wayne really added some really great guitars to that song that brought it to life for me in a lot of ways, and some Phil Collin drums from Platts, and Ben did nothing on it. No.
He did it. He wasn't there.
Ben brought in his sweet bass, and that filled out the chorus. And so yeah, we really are proud of that song.
I'm So Sorry is a song that we wrote actually while we were in LA. We were working with Steve Jablonski and Hans Zimmer, and we were in their studio. What's the name of the studio?
Remote Control.
Remote Control, yeah.
Yes.
And I remember Hans had this crazy guitar. It was made of metal, and I was really curious about it. And Hans is just so awesome. He was like, "Oh yeah, go ahead and take it for the night." So after we were done working with him, I took it back to the hotel room, and just Dan had asked a couple days earlier about like sending him some rock riffs just to write with. So I just recorded a bunch of random ideas, sent it to Dan. Actually, the next day, we finished the demo and showed Hans
and Michael Bay.
And
Michael Bay approved.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Bet My Life is a song that we got to really have some fun with in the studio that we built in Las Vegas to record Smoke and Mirrors. We were taking that song apart, putting it back together every way we could think of, but we couldn't quite nail the vibe we were going for. And then late one night we decided, maybe we need to try to have a little bit of gospel flavor in there, bring a gospel choir in. We called our manager, told him we needed them the next day.
12 hours.
Somehow he made it happen, and it came out just incredible. It's this kind of uplifting vibe to it that I think we really managed to nail.
Polaroid is a song that came to me on Halloween. I was trick-or-treating with my little girl. We were walking down the street, and I just had this melody just pop into my head out of nowhere. Started singing it to her. She sang it back to me. And I really love like a good, just like melody that's very simple, almost got a nursery rhyme feel to it, and then we just flowed on top of that and created this song about kind of the whirlwind of these last couple years.
So, honey, no more trick-or-treating. Daddy has to go home and work now.
Forget about your second Halloween, the first one you can actually enjoy. This is about me.
See ya. Friction was a demo we were working on while we were on tour in Europe. And I remember we played a big festival, and like the crowd was just unbelievable. And we left the stage being like, we need to write a song like for that crowd. So next time we come here, we can just like play this like crazy rock song. So that night, Dan and Wayne were taking that demo apart and putting it back together. I know because I was in the bunk closest to that room. So all through the night, it was like really crazy distortion and crazy drums and all sorts of world instruments going on, screaming.
Sorry.
But it sounded so good, I couldn't interrupt them. I couldn't tell them to stop in my moral compass. So
Due to fear.
It Comes Back to You is a song that started from a really incredible guitar riff that Wayne sent me. It was just this really beautiful ambient riff, and I kind of chopped it up a little bit and reversed it at a certain part, and then we listened back to it, and it just, it just really set the tone for just a feel-good song to play in the summer, and yeah.
I think my favorite thing about this song is
The drums.
the harmony. It's not the drums. It's the harmony.
The drums are really
it's the way
good,
the second time the harmony restates itself. It's slightly different the second time, and it puts a whole different spin on the lyrics. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, at first I was like, it comes back to you. It's like, it comes back to you.
you.
Dream is a song that's probably the most not dark, but kind of most raw, lyrical song for me on the album, but in a lot of ways the most honest.
It's also one of the most dynamic songs on the album.
Yeah, it is a really dynamic song. Platts and Wayne brought their string
Actually,
skills
fun
to
fact,
the table.
Ben brought his upright bass, Wayne busted out the cello, I busted out viola and violin, so we actually have a string quintet on that track.
Yeah.
And I just am a loser and can't play any strings, so
Come on, man.
couldn't join in.
You gotta
but-
up your game.
yeah,
You put that nice little lead melody on the top there in the chorus.
I need to learn some strings.
Trouble was actually one of the first demos we actually started fleshing out in our brand new studio. I got a call from Wayne late one night being like, Platts, get over to the studio right now and bring like all your weird, quirky, small drums.
I didn't ask, I demanded.
Demanded it. Said, right now.
That's right.
So I grabbed a little tiny snare drum and some weird percussion and ran over, and we kind of, he instead of putting me in the big room, put me in the small isolation booth and had me do a bunch of different patterns. We put them on top of each other, and it kind of created this like toy soldier marching vibe. It was really vibey and cool, and then everyone else filled out the parts and became Trouble.
And it was trouble since then. Ooh. Let's cut right there.
Summer, I'd say, would be the bass feature of all the songs on Smoke and Mirrors. We definitely let Ben do a bunch of fun stuff on the chorus there. Nice little bass on top thing. Got a nice 6/8 groove. It's one of the only songs in 6 on the record.
Right.
And
Todd started that one and sent me
On
the
an
idea
iPad.
that he had on his iPad. And wasn't it your vocal that you sampled? It's like,
yeah,
ooh, ooh, ooh.
yeah, I put my voice through a sampler, so it sounds like kind of like someone's like a little
Karate
tiny
chop,
person's
like-
being karate chopped.
It's awesome. That's like my favorite part. And the tasty bass riff with Ben. Is one of the stranger tracks on the album, but because of that, I think it's one of my favorites. It's got a really epic guitar solo at the end that we had to just put Wayne down in a seat and make him do.
We kept extending the song more and more.
Yeah, he was like, "Why is the solo so long?" We were like, "Because the
Not long
solo
enough.
is so good, we couldn't get enough of it." So we just made him keep soloing, and I think it's like my favorite solo he's ever done is on that song. Fall's the final track on the album. Maybe my favorite on the album, though. It really just has so many different sides to it. I know already that it's definitely going to be one of my favorite songs to play on tour.
Yeah, it's a song, I think that we gave ourselves the most freedom with that song. We just kind of kept on adding to it, and it turned into, I think it's almost 8 minutes long now on the album.
It's kind of like a few songs. If you want.
Yeah, it's a journey.